Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Business Talks. Let me see if I could change the way. Put in the chat. Let me know that you could hear me and see me. Please put in the chat. Let me know that you could hear me and see me. I still have some camera technical difficulties. I did get my camera to work, but I'm not for sure if it's picking up the sound. Put in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. I see we have champions in the building. What is good? We're going to discuss Joe Biden again today. I found some other information about Project 25 of what Joe Biden is campaigning, saying that this is Trump. I guess his whole Project 25 is his thing. And so I found some additional information in regards to Project 25, and we're going to find out the truth about Project 25. Of course, if with any type of thing, is some good things and some bad things that comes with it. And you shouldn't agree totally 100% with anything. We'll discuss that further in this episode. Also, I want to talk about Brandon Johnson. We talked about him yesterday. He did issue a response, and you never would guess what his response was about the mass killing that happened in Detroit over the 4th of July weekend. It is unbelievable to me. So we'll discuss that. And also, we're going to talk about Mayor Eric Adams. Okay. So that's all on today on another episode of Business Talks. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Champion in the building. What is good? Posh Petals, what is good? I'm glad you guys could hear me and see me. We're not going to keep you on for long. We're going to get right into it. Our first story of the hour, I want to discuss your boy, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. He did issue a response, and you guys would never guess what his response was. It's kind of sad. Like I mentioned yesterday, Brandon Johnson is touting that he has the blackest administration in the city ever in the city of Chicago. All the while that he is running this city into the ground. It's really wild to me that he would issue a response in this manner. It's to me, it's kind of sickening. I believe this is him. I believe this is him. You know what? I'm going to play the short clip for you. I'm not going to go to that long clip. It's about 15 minutes long. I just want to play a little snippet of Brandon Johnson. Is kind of disgusting. You had over 100 people shot. Let me make sure you can see this. Over 100 people shot over the weekend, and you blame once again a dead person. First you tried to blame Lori Lightfoot, and Lori Lightfoot, she's not part of the administration anymore. So since you can't blame Lori Lightfoot any longer, and somebody probably called you out, Lori Lightfoot, she's no longer in the administration. You've been in office a little bit over a year, and you haven't did anything to protect your own citizens. As a matter of fact, you went as far as to bring more criminals into the city. And I'm speaking specifically of illegal immigrants. Those immigrants, not all immigrants, these illegal immigrants that are not supposed to be here, and they're so-called seeking asylum. But then you go to say, oh, we're going to blame Mayor, we're going to blame Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon, that's who he's blaming. This is him.
So we cut off the pipeline of boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. I'm going to work hard every day to transform this city. That's what it takes to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. I need everybody to step up. So we cut off the pipeline of...
We cut off the pipeline from, I guess, boys' prison pipeline. I'm not for sure what he's saying about that. I think that pipeline still exists. We could say that if you get in trouble at school, it goes on your record. It goes on your record, and you're looked as if, oh, this is a problem student. Okay. And you might not get in trouble. It might be a fictitious trouble, but it's all up to the school or the administration that you attend to. But that's neither here nor there. Let's hone in on what Mayor Brandon Johnson is trying to tell us. He is trying to tell us that since Richard Nixon, Richard Nixon, his policies is still in effect, and it's affecting these kids that's killing other children. Your black children that's killing your black children is because of Richard Nixon. I know we talk about accountability in this, but Richard Nixon has nothing to do with us not raising our children to respect other people and other people's lives. It has nothing to do with Richard Nixon. They could throw all the racism and all this racist things at us to hold us down, and it has nothing to do with you killing another person, another human being, unless your life was threatening, in fear of your life, and you had to protect yourself. But this is not the case. The case is we are raising a group of individual or a class of individuals that they do not respect other people. They don't respect lives. Black lives don't matter to Black people. Yeah, you guys might get mad at that, but they don't respect Black lives. Your own people don't respect your life. And Brandon Johnson had the nerve to say it's Richard Nixon's fault. I want to play it again.
Boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. I'm going to work hard every day to...
You wasn't even alive then. You're not 60. You wasn't alive then. Okay, we had Richard Nixon, who the people voted for him. And who gives a shit? That has nothing to do with you and our Black children killing each other. It has nothing to do with it. You guys let me know if I'm going in the wrong. I guess you could say, oh, it's self-hate or whatever. But if you raise your children to have, number one, self-love and love themselves and do unto others as they would do unto you, even with the Bible, if you're a Christian, you're raising them under Christian. Muslims, Black Muslim nation, they don't talk about harming people. We don't have any structure. Kids are being raised with no structure, no morals, no nothing. They don't have a sense of self-worth. It has nothing to do with Richard Nixon. It has nothing to do with we shall overcome. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, and I could say myself, we as a people have not raised our kids properly. That's why they're doing the things that they're doing. And we have, once they not raised properly, they get out on the street. Then we have this administration saying, oh, don't demonize the kids. Well, these kids are demons. These are demon kids. And I said this before. We need to hold these parents responsible. You didn't raise your kids. Well, you need to go to jail too. You didn't raise your kids properly. If they're a young people, preteen, I would say all the way up to 17, the parents need to be penalized. Because how the hell you raise the kid that want to tote a gun and start shooting people? You should feel something. You should be responsible for that. You guys might not like what I'm saying, but it's disgusting that he would say it's somebody else's problem besides our own. This is our own problem. We can't blame the white man. Blame yourself. Kevin Walker, thank you for tuning in. Champions from Palm Springs, California. Noble Young, what is good? Capri Sherwood, Toronto, Ontario. Anger mismanagement. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. Champion said Nixon ? Yeah, this is clown. I don't know what those emojis are, but this is clown shit. Phlebotomist. So Black folks murdering other Black folks is never Black folks' fault. It's never Black folks' fault. It's always somebody else that they did something to us 60 years ago. It's because of redlining. It's because of slavery that happened in prior to 1865. It was because of racial discrimination between 1865. It was because of the Tuskegee Airmen, because they fed them some, they gave them syphilis and watched them die. That's why we act the way we act. To me, it sounds ludicrous. It sounds ludicrous. I could remember back in the day, and this was what was when I was in my 20s. I always been a strong-headed person, and I just remember someone told me, "Oh, engineering is hard. You can't do engineering. You can't be a chemical engineer," because I tried engineering and I failed. And I looked at him and I was like, you must be stupid. Because I'm not going to fail. A person will never tell me what I can and cannot do, as long as I'm operating in the law. I'm not doing, crazy stuff. And that's where it should be. Same with everyone. I don't care what race you are, what class you're in. You should feel no person should be able to tell me what I can and cannot do. And as long as I'm treating the person with respect, I should be able to do whatever the hell I want to do. And the white man can't keep me down. But we continue to have this victimization mentality, and that's why we're not going nowhere. That's why we see Sexy Red being put on a pedestal, and this little boy, you see little RT, and some parents some adult people is praising this bullshit. For his birthday, they got him some old ass strippers, and he's 10. It's disgusting. And we continue to perpetuate this nonsense and agree with this bullshit instead of calling him out. Nixon has nothing to do with our own people killing each other. Has nothing to do with it. Chicago been Democrat since 1931. They can't blame anyone but themselves. Exactly. Blame your prosecuting attorneys. Was it Kim Worthy? She don't prosecute. I guess that's the district attorney. Not Kim Worthy, but Kim Fox. I'm assuming she's about to retire, but you got district attorneys. They don't solve a crime unless it's done to the police. Now they're solving crimes. They do solve crimes, but it has to be a badge behind the crime. Just like that guy in Memphis, they tried to say it's because of racism, white supremacy, that these men, 4 police officers, 4 black men police officers decided to gang beat that individual. What was his name? Oh, Tyree or something like that. You guys put in the chat, let me know what the guy's name was. But they tried to say that was because of white supremacy. And you have a black super lieutenant, she was a female, a black chief of police, female, 4 black men officers all beat a black man to death. But we continue to blame the white man. So you just can't think for yourself. The white man make all the decisions for you. Bingo, say it again for the ones in the back, ma'am. You're telling the truth. Parents should be held accountable. Money Boy, thank you for tuning in. What's good? Tyree Nichols. I was about to say Tyrese Nichols, but it's Tyree Nichols. And Money Boy is saying, I'm from Memphis. The last 2 to 3 police chiefs have been black. So we're going to blame white supremacy on that. We got to wake up, people. We can't just let them feed us this garbage. Speaking of garbage, you guys, that's all I got to say about that. All I got to say about that. Speaking of garbage, you got New York City. New York City. Now, New York City, they do have, and no shade on New York City. I think it's a place to go, for a couple of days if you wanted some good food. They do have some good food, interact with the people, music, fashion. So no shade, but they do have, it's very dirty. They don't have, it's a flat top, asphalt. So when they chuck out their trash, they just put it in a bag. They don't have a trash can. So this is funny. Reason why I'm saying this is funny, because then I saw another video and somebody put a bag of trash and it was an actual body. Anyway, I'm going to get to that story in a few moments. The New York City Mayor Eric Adams proudly shows off his brilliant new invention he's bringing to New York City. This is brilliant. Yeah. And this post is by Colin Rugg. He is what is it called? A journalist. Anyway, during a press conference on Monday, Adams unveiled the mind-blowing new technology as part of the trash revolution. Instead of chucking their trash on the sidewalks, Some New Yorkers will have now a fancy trash can. Well, you know what? If you want to get rid of rats, you probably want to put it in a trash can. But this is not new, Eric Adams, and they're clapping. Why would you? You should have been had this. This is a shame on, and there's nothing. No shade on Eric Adams. He just putting it. Hey, I need more goodness to my campaign. Let's bring in trash can. Let's bring in trash cans because we don't have any. We got a lot of rats, though. We got a lot of rats. The trash cans, the next step is in relegating the New York City once Omni presents mountains of black trash bags to the dustbin of history. This is what he said. That doesn't even make sense. By June 1st, 2026, why does it have to be rolled out 2026? That's 2 years away. You'll be out of office then. 1 to 9 unit residential structures will be required to buy and use a $50 ban. Okay, this is him.
All trash. Revolution and
Really, welcome to our trash revolution. Okay, so you're rolling down trash bins. Thank you for your super chat, champions. Thank you for your super chat. This is funny. You're rolling out trash bins. I guess somebody should have gave you the memo. This is not a new revelations. People do this across the nation, especially if you don't want rodents. And then Kennard, the DJ, he says those ain't right rats. Those are groundhogs. That's a groundhog because the rat is bigger than the human. It's like these ain't no damn rats. But anyway. So speaking of trash, so somebody said, okay, since I guess he's trying to campaign on something. I'm not for sure. But this is a good idea. You want to get rid of some of your rodents. This is a great idea. Now, but this crime in New York City is still a problem in New York City, and this happened just over the weekend. It says authorities are sharing new information about the human remains found in the sleeping bag that had been left on Manhattan sidewalk for trash. Is this why you came up with the trash bin? Okay, we want to get rid of the people just setting out bags. So now they're going to set bodies in the trash bin. I'm not for sure. They say the body found in the sleeping bag, which was also bagged on East 27th Street, is that of a 31-year-old woman who had been shot in the head. Cops ruled her death a homicide. They haven't released her name. Officers found the body when they responded to reports of suspicious package and a foul smell outside the building of Kips Bay. The remains were in a sleeping bag left alongside the other garbage bag on the curb for pickup. The video and photos show on social media what appears to be a full-size body covered in dark sleeping bag that was further wrapped in a black trash bag. No arrest has been made. And actually, they did make an arrest. It was this young individual. I'm pretty sure you can see this. This young lady. This is the young lady that they end up finding out who it was. Okay, this is sad. And then people saying means welcome to our new trash evolutions. This is not an evolution. You should have been doing that. And like I said, I don't know if this Mayor Eric Adams is trying to, was this, oh, let's come up with trash bags because of this young lady was dumped on the side of the road like she was a piece of trash. It's very shameful. And then, um, you know, some of the victims came to the police department. Once they found out who the victim was, they actually came to the police department and they were able to see this suspect being, I guess, carted out to the hospital. I'm not for sure. Um, but it's really sad, and they actually attacked this guy. This is the guy. This is the guy that they arrested. Okay, he's a suspect. Not, you're innocent till proven guilty, but since his family was there and they said, "Oh, we have a suspect under arrest," they were out there. They were out there and they were attacking him. A whole bunch of people. Because this, not to say if it was him or not, a person took the lady's life and left her on the side of the road like she was a piece of trash. This is New York. And your mayor, Eric Adams, decided to roll out with trash cans. You didn't say nothing about the victim. You and not to say, crime doesn't happen all the time in New York. Not to say he had to say something about the victim, but you think they would have did some type of research. Maybe we want to hold this, put a stay on this until this guy or this arrest has been made and this, we actually find justice. This is Democratic led cities. This is what they have to deal with. It would be very interesting to see if this guy is the actual suspect. Who knows? It could have been an illegal immigrant. They killing everybody else. We don't know. We don't know. So they were attacking him. They were attacking him, and it's so funny that the police was trying to protect him. Yeah, they are supposed to protect him because he's in custody, but it's sad.
Sought out a man sources tell Fox 5 is a person of interest in the murder. In a wheelchair when he was brought down to the lobby, he was being transferred into a gurney while still in the lobby as a crowd outside started screaming and banging on the windows. Once the door opened, family members and friends of Yasmin Williams unleashed their fury as police officers and EMTs desperately tried to fend them off. Several people punched the man in the head, angrily jumping over him and leaving.
In this man's defense, if he's paralyzed, how would he shoot somebody in the head unless old girl was attacking him? How will he get the girl wrapped up in this is what I'm saying. Oh, we just want to find anybody that we could pin this murder on. Make it make sense. Okay, you're in a wheelchair. How would you do all the things that they're saying that he did? Or they just put a body in their place. Oh, we're gonna say he's a suspect or wanted for questioning. And then you have a mob of people just blaming him on, but they're not using critical thinking skills. Well, if he's in a wheelchair, okay, he probably shot her, but he had to have an accomplice, right? How do you get the lady rolled up in a sleeping bag, then put a trash bag over her? Does that make any sense? But like I said, my statement before, it could have been an illegal immigrant. And maybe they're trying to take the heat off illegal immigrants. We don't know, or they don't know who the hell it is. We don't know.
Leaping over anyone in the way to get at him. Some could be heard begging the crowd to kill the man, while others were tearing his shirt from behind. The man pleaded his innocence at the angry crowd as the EMTs and police tried to load him into the ambulance, all the while trying to push back at people surging to attack the man. As soon as the ambulance bolted, Yasmin's mother held her hand, overwhelmed.
He's disgusting. He looks like scum.
Yasmin's body was found Friday, stuffed into garbage bags and left out on the street on East 27th Street, just off 3rd Avenue. On Monday, the medical examiner's office determined the cause of death to be a gunshot wound to her head. Sources tell Fox 5 police have a surveillance video showing a man in an electric wheelchair dragging the garbage bags to that location, which led Yasmin's family to wait outside the building down the street.
So they have him in an electric wheelchair dragging a body down the street, or a large garbage bag down the street. Like I said, we don't know. We don't know. Did they catch him red-handed? Probably so. If this is the same trash bag. Anyway, like I said, I think Mayor Eric Adams should have used a better judgment and not roll out of the trash can evolution. This is really ridiculous. But this is what New York City residents have to go through. Now, that's all I got to say about that. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Street justice is going on the rise. People are fed up with the non-actions of the DAs. And if this guy actually did it, they really will have to catch him red-handed for them to get a conviction. And that's probably why he got caught, because they got surveillance. They have surveillance video. And Lexi, you're right. Supposedly there's a video with him with the trash bags. I haven't seen it though. Stump Down says she's wearing the hell out of that cowboy hat. Okay, stop it. The revolution is being televised. Eric Adams X LOL. That's all Adams have to run on. Pitiful. Yeah, I mean, you can't run on, hey, we're gonna the crime you really, the crime in New York City is like a smack in the face when you allow illegal immigrants to get away with crime. You know, they assault police officers, they assault young ladies. It was a couple of girls that got raped in one of the parks. So it's okay, you know, for you to be a criminal and walk free in New York City. And Mayor Eric Adams is kind of soft on crime, and you think he would be tougher on crime, being that he is an ex police officer. But no, he's not. Anywho, going to our next story. Now, we talked about Mayor Eric Adams. I just got one quick other story that I want to share with you. This story is about this California Democrats watered down sex trafficking bill. This is a disgusting bill. This is basically saying that if you knowingly solicited sex from a minor, you only spend 2 days in jail. That's basically what the bill is saying. That's why they're calling it a watered down sex trafficking bill. You spend 2 days in jail. It's not a felony, it's a misdemeanor. And you could get up to $2,000 in fine. A child sex trafficking bill. But as anyone whose brain isn't completely broken by politics might imagine, this isn't the case of lawmakers trying to make life easy for people who abuse and exploit children. They are just trying to insert a smidge of sanity in the bill's punishment scheme. The scorn with which This has been met underscores how hard it is for legislators to push back against policies that are purportedly about protecting children. This bill is called Senate 1414. It was introduced by in April by Senator Shannon Grove and Anna Caballero and Susan Rubio. It will raise the penalties for soliciting a minor for prostitution. It passed 36-0 vote. It passed the Assembly Public Safety Committee with the 8-0 vote last week, and another amendment was added. The amendment under the California law soliciting someone an offender knows or reasonable should know is a minor for prostitution is a misdemeanor, punishable by mandatory minimum imprisonment of 2 days in the county jail and possibly punishment up to 1 year in jail and a $10,000 fine. As introduced, the bill will have raised the offense to a felony and the punishment up to possible 4 years in state prison and fine of $25,000, regardless of whether defendants knew or should have known the person was a minor, or regardless of whether the defendants were themselves above 18. Is also include they also have to include themselves on the sex offender list. Okay, under amended version, the solicitation of a minor will sometimes be a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail, and sometimes be a felony, punishable up to 3 years. How they going to determine that? That it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Oh, I didn't know the guy or the girl was underage. I didn't know that. The solicited minors was under 16 at the age of the time, or if the person was under 18 at the time. I guess that's they're going to determine that. And they're going to have to it will always be a felony, and offender more than 10 years older than a solicited minor will have to register on the sex offender list. It says the controversy with this bill have drawn criticism from Groves and others who claim the bill will not make it hard to punish sex criminals. In reality, the amended bill simply allows punishment to be more tailored to circumstances. The amended bill will make it harder to punish anyone in a blanket way, but anyone free society we should consider that a good thing. The heat that those amending the bill have taken shown a wider problem in our criminal justice system, in which allowing for any nuisance or nuance gets slammed as weak and inexcusable. But there's nothing weak about realizing specific circumstances do matter, and that one size fit all solution to law enforcement is likely to overpunish or over incarcerate. I think if you're a sex offender, you should get overpunished. This is only my personal opinion. I don't care. You should get overpunished. You're a sex offender. And it takes courage to craft criminal justice solutions that are fair to victims and those who are accused of crime. Whether this amended bill gets the balance right, it is up for the debate. Okay, so, and it was up for debate. They heard some public comments, and I guess their LGBTQ community, and this is what they had to say. It was really odd that they would claim this. If you're not a sex offender, why would you speak out against this?
That fails to address. We believe that SB 1414 takes an overly punitive approach that fails to address the root causes of these issues and will not effectively stop sexual violence. We are particularly concerned that the harsher penalties proposed in this bill will disproportionately impact marginalized communities, especially members of the LGBTQ community, who already suffer from systematic biases within the criminal justice system, particularly when it comes to sexually based offenses. Studies have shown that LGBTQ people, particularly gay and transgendered individuals, are more likely to be charged with sex offenses compared to their heterosexual counterparts. For instance, LGBTQ individuals are 9 times more likely to be charged with sodomy.
LGBTQ people are 9 times more likely to be charged with sodomy. Well, those are the ones that are committing sodomy. I mean, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but aren't those the only one that are committing sodomy? Like, come on now. You know, really, aren't they the only ones that's committing sodomy?
Measures like SB 1414 lead to higher rates of incarceration, longer sentences, and increased difficulties in finding housing and employment.
Today, EBC must strongly oppose Senate Bill 1414 for the reasons I will state. We stand against any punitive measure that perpetuates systemic injustices, and we emphasize instead the need for community-based solutions. We strongly support investments in victim services and programs to provide housing and other alternatives to help people escape trafficking. We are concerned that the harsher penalties contained in this bill will disproportionately impact marginalized communities.
I'm struggling with this. Now, this is not crack versus cocaine. Joe Biden came out with the 94 crime bill. And in that 94 crime bill, you are 10 times more likely to get more time if you were found in possession of crack cocaine versus cocaine. Now, crack is distributed or was distributed in the Black community. Cocaine was not, but we're talking about sex. Are we saying that, and we're not talking about the sex trafficked individuals, the people that are the victims. We're talking about the people that are the predators. So we're saying the predators, they are the marginalized people. I'm confused, but I want somebody to tell me, this is what she's saying. The predators are the marginalized people, and we should give them grace because they are marginalized. They're marginalized because they're LGBTQ. Preying on young individuals. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. I think that's what they're saying, but it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense to you? I don't think it does.
Particularly Black and brown individuals who already bear the brunt of systemic biases within our criminal justice system. Under current California law, defendants could face years or even decades in prison for sexual violence committed against a minor, not just 6 months in jail as Senator Grove and prosecutors have previously claimed. Furthermore, the approach outlined in SB 1414 diverts resources from vital programs and services aimed at supporting survivors of human trafficking and sexual exploitation, opting instead to increase funding for lengthy jail terms. Our research has shown that punitive measures such as lengthy incarceration and registries do little to prevent crime or protect communities. Instead, they perpetuate cycles of incarceration, exacerbating the very problems they are meant to address. Rather than investing in punitive measures, we should be investing in community-based solutions that address the underlying issues driving exploitation.
I think she's correct about, we need to invest in measures of how can we stop individuals being exploited. What is the underlying cause of that? That's really, parents and culture and your upbringing, how can we protect our children from being fallen victims of being exploited? A lot of times when young girls are exploited, it's because they thought they had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend brings them into sex trafficking crimes. But we're talking about, um, if you're talking about prostitution, and some people will go on a certain strip because they know it's minors prostituting. You have a certain pimp that pimp out minors. So just because these are they saying that the prostitutes, the people that's being exploited, they're going to jail too? Or we're talking about the sick old people that's want to fulfill their earthly desires, and to solicit these minors because they have a taste for minors. It makes sense. um like I said, this is, I believe, is watered down. Maybe they tried to put more stringent rules and classify to whatever the crime is, but then you have these nut jobs saying, oh, we need some more community-based solutions instead of locking people up. No. Well, I think you could go through a psychiatric exam, um sterilization. Those are some solutions that comes on the top of my head. I know once they change their law, some people are, they are giving them the death sentence if they be, if they get caught with a minor. Not a 16-year-old minor. They're talking about minors. So that's my own personal opinion. You guys put in the chat, let me know what you think. My very last story before I get offline. Um, we have Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Less than, it's probably like 119 days left until the election. You have Joe Biden. He's really hitting it hard. We discussed yesterday how he chewed out his own people, the Democrats, second guessing him being able to win against Donald Trump, and continue messaging of Donald Trump and his campaign, that they're talking about this Project 2025. This Project 2025 is something that, I thought, and I never looked at it. I was like, well, Project 2025 is, some of the stuff is okay. Some of the stuff, yeah, they need to get rid of. I don't agree with none of the stuff. But, and then some of the stuff makes sense, especially on their education system. Yeah, I totally agree with some of the things that they put in there. They need to eradicate the educational system because it's failing our children. But nobody likes that. Oh, they're trying to give power to this one single person. No, they're taking out the government and giving more power to the people. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about Joe Biden's post. Joe Biden continues to post that this Project 2025 is Donald Trump thing, and it's not. This is totally Joe Biden's thing that he's hitching to Donald Trump's campaign. And it's really sickening to me that you're using fear tactics to try to get the black people or minorities to say, oh my God, they're trying to put us back in chains. And then you do have some minorities regurgitating that our democracy is on the line. They regurgitating that nonsense, that democracy is on the line. Let me just find the post for you before I share this other post. So, and he's saying Project 2025, Donald Trump is trying to hide his extreme Project 2025 agenda. The only problem, it was written for him by those closest to him. No, it's not. It was not. And Donald Trump. So this is Trump's Project 2025. I tried to find this website, and this is written by Joe Biden. Okay. This is a campaign, a smear campaign of Joe Biden. It says terminates the Constitution, consolidate the power in the Oval Office, does Democrats check and balances, gives handouts to ultra wealthy, pay for working families, and much, much more. That's not what Project 25 is all about. Even though you Donald Trump came out and he put this on Truth Social. Okay, he came out and said he has nothing to do with Project 2025. Okay, so nothing to do with Project 2025. And this is what he said. This is verbatim his tweet. I'll get to that tweet later. But I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. And I disagree with some of the things they're saying. And some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck. But I have nothing to do with them. Okay, this was July 5th at 10:29 a.m. Okay. But Joe Biden, they put this out. This is a tweet from Joe Biden Harris headquarters. A desperate and lying Trump claims that he knows nothing about the Project 2025 agenda, even though his top aides are the ones behind the plan. They do have one person from that handled not his campaign, but he was in the Oval Office for about a year. And then Ben Carson, he put some information in there, or gave them some information about whatever. So they have contributors, and it's about maybe 200 to 300 contributors to this 920 page document. And it says, you see this tweet. I'm sorry. Now you see this tweet. Biden Harris campaign put this out. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who it is. They made this. They doctored the tweet up and put it on their social media. This is politics. Politics is dirty. Why did they do that? Because they want to make sure that their followers know that Donald Trump is lying to you. That's the narrative they're trying to push. Oh, he's going to deny it, but don't believe him. So they put part of his tweet out. They didn't show his whole tweet.
Mom, a glass broke.
Okay, just leave it alone. I'm about to come out there in a minute.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, so they didn't put his whole tweet. You guys put your shoes on. Put your shoes on and your socks. So they didn't put his whole tweet out. And like I said, when you go to this Project 2025, Trump's Project 2025, the web address does pop up as joebiden.com Project 2025. And they do actually link to the 920 page document. But they know people are not going to read the 920 page document. That's neither here nor there. The main thing is they're lying. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris is lying to you. And if they lie about this little minor thing that they try to make it a big thing to make sure to lead you into fear, to, hey, we definitely got to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What else are they lying about? You got to really ask yourself, what else are they lying about? What else will they lie about? Just to get your vote. I believe everything. Anywho. Samuel Matthews is from the Heritage Foundation. Okay. So you guys, I have to head out. I really appreciate every single last one of you. You guys make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel. I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you soon.